Hi everyone, I'm Francis from Last Minute English. I'm a former IELTS examiner, and today I'm going to give Jo Dong-yu her IELTS speaking test. Now, unfortunately, she was on the way to the Last Minute English studio, but she got stuck in traffic, so she won't be able to attend this IELTS speaking test in person. Very sad. So instead, we're going to use a interview that she recorded a few years ago. I'm going to give her some questions from the IELTS speaking test. She's going to answer. And then at the end, I'll tell all of you what score she would get. All right? So let's get started with the first question. So, Jo Dong-yu, thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the IELTS speaking test. My first question, why do you think movies are important?
I believe audiences love seeing characters and the real people that they can relate with. And I think it is no longer stories about lives of few. And although it is a guilty pleasure to so many people around the world, film has the potential to cross borders and tell people, hey, I'm human. I've had similar experiences. You're not alone.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So everyone, you can see immediately that she has pretty good English. She's already at a pretty high level. There's some great vocabulary in there. One piece of vocabulary that we can learn from her is a guilty pleasure, which means something that we enjoy, but we kind of feel bad or we feel embarrassed about enjoying it for some reason. That's very high level vocabulary. But she did have a few grammar problems in there. So one was, she said, they can relate with, but it should be, they can relate to. It's not a big problem, but it's the kind of small detail that could lose you marks on the IELTS speaking test. So let's move to question 2. So, is there a standard of beauty for actresses in your country?
Women who are actors in China are subject to the same standards as women in film in every country. We're expected to be flawless, but again, that's all changing. Instead of talking about the standards of beauty, people are beginning to talk about the standards of ability, of individuality, of the freedom to move. That is so exciting.
All right, thank you very much. So everyone, again, we can see that her vocabulary is very good. So she used words like flawless, which means when you just are perfect, there are no problems at all. But there was a little pronunciation or grammar problem in the middle there, because she said, we expect to be flawless, but it should be expected. Now, maybe that was a pronunciation problem, maybe it's a grammar mistake, but it's something that the examiner would take note of. So it should be, we're expected to be flawless. And then my final question, question 3, in what ways do women contribute to the movie industry?
Women have contributed to cinema tremendously. It's not only about those who work in front of the camera. I've been lucky enough to work with directors, cinematographers, directors, and producers, people behind the scenes that have proved that the focus is no longer only on masculinity. It's about vision, ability, and experiences and activity. I think women will continue to contribute to the cinema, and we'll just have to wait and see how.
All right, thank you very much. So again, everyone, what we're seeing is some great vocabulary, particularly vocabulary related to movies. So we've got things like people behind the scenes. Now that is a simple phrase, but it's actually quite natural, quite a native expression. And it means the people who are not like on the camera, the people who are doing the other work. Okay, so that's like a band 7 or band 8 piece of vocabulary. And she also uses words like masculinity and words like cinematographers. But I feel like she knows those words pretty well, but she does need to practice her pronunciation of them a little bit because she slips as she's saying cinematographer. It's a hard word to say, but if you're going to use those high-level words, you need to know what they mean, you need to know how to use them in a sentence, and you need to know how to pronounce them correctly. So let's talk about the predicted score that Jo Dong-gu would get for her IELTS speaking performance. So for fluency, I'm going to give her a 7. Because she has a few little pauses as she's looking for language, but mostly she's able to speak pretty fluently, so she does a pretty good job. For pronunciation, I'll give her also a 7, because it's very clear. She uses things like wanna instead of want to, and it's very easy to understand most of what she says, but she does make some mistakes, like with cinematographer. So she's not quite at level 8, but she's definitely a level 7. Then for her lexical resource or vocabulary, I'm going to give her an 8, which is a very good score. And the reason is that she's got such great vocabulary talking about movies and also talking about society in general. She really shows her higher level vocabulary. So she does a very good job there. And then her grammatical range and accuracy, also a 7. So she doesn't have perfect grammar. She does make a few mistakes, but also she shows that most of the time her grammar is pretty good. She can use complex sentences. She can arrange her sentences in different ways. She's doing a pretty good job for grammar. So overall, it looks like she's going to get either a 7 or more likely a 7.5 for her IELTS speaking. If you're preparing for the IELTS exam, make sure to check out our IELTS complete guide. The link is down here. It's really, really complete. It covers all parts of the IELTS test. It even has answers to the newly released IELTS speaking questions, which is something you don't find anywhere else. And there's a special link down here to get you a really big discounted price just for people watching this video. So make sure you check it out. Thank you very much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.